Well, I responded as an evangelical. I responded just as a normal kind of political citizen of the country, right? I'll never forget election night. You know, I was watching with my kind of laptop there, I was tweeting and so forth, and you know, all of a sudden I can't remember which station I was watching, probably CNN, they started parading different pro-Trump kind of Christian leaders onto the screen. I started seeing retweets of people, you know, I won't name their names here, but leading Christian, a lot of people who today I call the court evangelicals, kind of praise the Lord, right? You know, this providential thing that happened. And I got sort of very angry that evangelicals would even consider kind of throwing their support behind this guy. Now, again, prior to the election, I kind of knew this was going to happen, but 81%, you know, was a very high number, as I found out. I think this was a couple days later, and then, you know, that it happened. Not only that it happened in such big numbers, but that I didn't think Trump would win. I thought, you know, this will all go away tomorrow. You know, whatever you think of Hillary Clinton, I said this will be done with, you know, and all of the writing that I had done and everything, you know, maybe helped or something, but it didn't help. I mean, it was clear that evangelicals were behind this guy, and I think I tweeted out something like, you know, if this is evangelicalism, or if this is what an evangelical is, I'm out. Now, the next day I find out that got retweeted a lot, and Jonathan Merritt had a piece in The Atlantic in which he quoted me. So then I'm getting all these emails, you know, don't leave, or, you know, these kinds of things. And other people are using what I said to kind of saying, well, here's Fia, one of many who, you know, we can't tolerate this anymore. That evangelicals would throw their support behind such a person that represented nothing of kind of evangelical values, policies and values, right? Policy and character was the problem here. So that was my initial reaction. I was angry. I'll never forget going to church. I write about this in the book, going to church the Sunday after the election. And I come from central Pennsylvania. I live in central Pennsylvania. I attend a big evangelical church. Some might call it a mega church even. And there I am kind of singing my praise songs and looking around and thinking, you know, 8 out of 10 of these people, maybe more in central Pennsylvania, where Trump carried over 70% of the county I live in, voted for this guy. It took me a while. It took me a while to kind of get over the initial kind of anger, betrayal that I felt. And I didn't think about writing a book, though, I think, until my kind of historical hat. I put my historical hat back on and began to say, well, what caused this? You know, that's how I'm wired. You know, I tend to, after doing this for a while, you tend to think historically about things. And I said, you know, I still feel I have something to say to my fellow evangelicals because I think they took a wrong turn here. At the same time, you know, I want this to be a respectable analysis, a historical analysis, and so forth. So I decided that I was gonna try to do my best to be a historian and write, you know, why this happened the way it did, but also have, you know, kind of say a word to my fellow Christians as to where they may have gone wrong.